Well, I was thinking about the whole idea of partners and watching porn together, watching porn apart from each other. This person says, my partner has caught me, but I could care less. If I was doing it, it was because he wasn't taking care of business. So there's like a revenge flicking up the bean.
It's a revenge bean right there.
But I mean, it is interesting that when you're in a relationship, I mean, when I was with your dad, I was like not wanting to tell him that I was doing it. So I would like go in the bathroom and do it.
Oh, interesting.
Because those days you weren't as verbal about, your sexuality.
Very interesting.
Now I could care less. I could tell Dee's, hey, if you want to watch, you want to participate, or you want to get out of the room, it's all up to you, but I'm going to be doing this.
Oh, very interesting.
When you say interesting, there's always other thoughts going on in your little feeble brain.
Feeble? The fuck feeble? The fuck feeble brain?
We just got our videographer.
Yeah, because you
laughing.
just insulted my brain over there.
I'm just saying, interesting is always a euphemism for, I'm going to have to talk about this with her later, or that's a weird.
No, I do. I think that is a pretty fascinating, progression in our society, that people feel more comfortable sharing with their partners.
Well, I don't know if they do. Maybe because I have a podcast called Sex Talk with My Mom. Do you, if you were in a relationship, feel comfortable just saying to your partner, you want to go to sleep? Fine, I'm going to whack off.
There's never, I don't think I would just jerk off. I haven't been in a relationship long enough to just start jerking off next to them.
Well, what are your thoughts? Do you think
I always want to have sex.
Well, what if she don't want to?
Then we don't.
Well, why can't you jerk the chicken when she's not wanting to do?
I'm starting to think back on my relationships. I honestly don't think that there have been many times where I've been like, hey, let's have sex. And she was like, no, usually mutual. But it's because it's a short-lived new relationship energy type of thing, There's a lot of reasons women or men, for that matter, are not going to want to have sex, and then the other person wants to. So what's stopping you? Is that a question to me?
I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking.
Okay, so I noticed a trend here. This is from Drew, who says, I've been caught quite a few times by different people. My mom, wife, siblings. I stopped momentarily, but then continued and finished. I think most people, this might be the move. You stop and then you finish.
Why do you think that?
I'm just reading through some of these responses. A lot of people do, finish it up.
If you were caught, would you stop and finish?
Well, I told you when I got caught by the babysitter, I did not finish. I didn't even know I don't think I even could finish.
You didn't even know what the hell you were doing.
People don't even realize that when little boys are young, they're jerking off and nothing's coming out of there. It's like an empty fountain.
Oh,
did you know
shooting
this?
blanks?
Nothing.
Air.
I actually think at that time it was pretty convenient because you'd have an orgasm, no mess to clean up whatsoever.
It's sort of like being a woman.
Yeah, kind of. I guess
Except if you're a squirter.
Tom, the elder statesman over
here,
says,
what did Tom say?
Amazingly, I've never really been caught. The closest thing, we'd been married about a year, and I woke up early with a hard-on. I was quietly stroking it, sort of hoping she might wake up and join in. This is a move. This is what I would do, this type of shit.
You and Tom.
Instead, she groggily said, get some tissue. The sheets were changed yesterday.
That sounds like a girl up my alley.
Rolled over and went back to sleep. I finished. Later, when we were leaving for work, she was hurrying me out the door, and she said with a grin, are you coming?
Oh!
This is a good match for Tom.
We need a name for Tom's swinging from the rafter wife.
Jane?
Let's call her Jane. Tom and Jane. Jane, that is great.
That is wonderful.
That's a good relationship.
Cassie says, once when I lived at home, my mom walked in while I was running a bath. I was scooched up to the faucet, enjoying myself, and she was like, stop that. I didn't continue that round because I was super embarrassed.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I've always been a fan of the faucet thing. I'm sorry that, Cassie, you experienced the immediate shaming. I've stopped that.
Yeah.
Not the same approach that you would have taken.
Well, I just remembered something that happened in my childhood.
Oh, boy.
I think that my sister and I were giving each other back rubs, so to speak. I say in quotes, but I don't know. Maybe there was a little more touching of the external parts, or maybe my father thought there was because he walked in the room and he was like, you guys stop that.
Oh, interesting. These memories just flooding back over here.
Flooding back like PTSD.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's PTSD.
It is interesting that at such a young age we're learning about this, and yet we have no context, and the reactions can be dramatic.
I'm telling you, parents out there, just keep it chill.
Keep it chill.
How would you raise your children if you saw them?
Oh, I would just tell them, please jerk off everywhere.
Freely.
Freely, whenever you get a boner.
All over the living room.
Yes.
Especially when there's a party full of people.
Yes. We got a response here from Houston, circa 2006, about lunchtime in the heat of summer in Central Florida. I broke away from my family and friends to go upstairs for self-care. Mid-fap, my uncle walked in, saw what I was doing, turned on the fan, and left. I'm deep into my self-care session. I love that he refers to it as a self-care session. Noticed the fan was turning on and looked at the door as he leaves shortly after I finish. To this day, we haven't spoken about it.
I like the cool uncle.
The cool uncle, what do you mean? I think he was trying to stop the whole train from running with the fan.
No, maybe the fan is to keep it quieter or
No, I don't think so.
get the smell out of the room.
It's not such a loud thing to be jerking off. He's not using toys. He's with his family in Central Florida.
So why was he walking in there anyway?
Yeah, why was the uncle walking into the bathroom?
Like, what if the guy's taking a shit?
Why wasn't the door locked?
Why what if he was
I
peeing
can't
all over the
stand
place?
when I'm in like a bathroom that doesn't have a lock. Why make a lock for the door?
I never experienced that. Where were you that they didn't have
Go
it?
into someone else's house.
And they don't have locks on the doors?
Airbnbs. Sometimes no locks in the bathroom door.
So what do you do?
You fucking go to the bathroom. You fucking
Put a
hope
little
for the
sign
best.
on the door?
Excuse me, don't come in. I'm mid-fap right now. We did have one amazing response over here from T. T says, when I was about 15, my mom walked in on me in the bathroom wearing her panties with another pair of panties on my face, jacking off, and I stopped dead in my tracks. I did my tracks, and she just stayed looking at me for what seemed like 5 minutes, but it was probably only like 30 seconds, and she just walked out, and I always had a big fantasy about her making me her little sissy son.
There's a lot to unpack there.
There's a
T.
lot to unpack.
So I'd like to address the panties thing.
Okay.
This is not the first time I've heard this little preference. I don't like to call it fetish, but preference. One of my friends was dating someone, and she found him in her panties.
Yeah.
And he wanted to get inside the panties with her.
Very interesting. I feel like that would expand those panties and stretch them to
She was
point
like
of uselessness.
a bigger woman.
Two people, though, is going to be bigger than one person.
And this was years ago, before it was like really fashionable to talk about kinks.
Yeah.
And so I was like, whoa, that's a red flag. But you know what? It's not a red flag. It's just his kink.
Well, it's interesting that T was wearing his mother's panties, and he had another pair of panties on the face while jacking off.
Well, he likes to be completely covered in panties.
I guess so. I mean, when she walks in and sees this, is she concerned about the jerking off? Is she concerned about the fact that he's got her panties? Is she concerned about the fact that he's got panties on his head?
Are they clean panties?
Are they clean panties? There's a lot of questions here. Maybe she wasn't concerned at all.
We will never know.
We will never know. I would love to give this guy a call. Maybe on a future episode we'll do this. But, you know, it seemed like he wanted her to make him her little sissy son.
Like a cuck thing.
He in another text, he did mention something about cuck.
Yeah.
Being a cuck. Yeah, so this is interesting to I don't know really what a sissy son is.
I don't know, but
Do you
I
think
love
I'm
it
a
that
sissy son?
No, I don't think so. Nah, you haven't delved into my panty drawer. If I saw you in there, I'd get you.
I don't want to come fucking close to your panties.
I wouldn't
Disgusting.
want you anywhere near them.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with your panties. But no hating on T for
No.
wanting the panties.
Don't yuck anybody's yum.
But that is a pretty vulnerable place to be fucking walked in on. You know, jerking off with the panties on the head. I mean, even if my own panties were on my head, I think someone would be like, "Whoa, what's going on here?"
I would.
You right?
Knowing you, it's like when you were a little kid, you put a popcorn bowl on your head. Maybe you were trying to whack off at that time and had a popcorn
When
bowl
I
on
had a
your head.
popcorn bowl in my head? No, that was for safety reasons.
Oh, that's true.